again, I'm just kind of laying out why people are outraged, because people haven't been held accountable. This is a history of autism.
Yeah, the history of autism is pretty insane. People say it's always been prevalent. We just detect it better now. I don't buy that argument by any means. Do I think it's purely vaccines? No. I think our food has a lot to do with it. I think pollution probably has a lot to do with it. I think the way that we live our lives, how overall obese we are, we don't really work out as much. I think all that has to come into play. But you cannot deny that as we have added more vaccines to a child's, just schedule of just taking vaccines, autism has increased as well. There's actually a dramatic increase after the year that we started increasing it like drastically. To go from 1 in 150 to 1 in 31 should get people's attention. We should be looking into this. They've already discovered that there is no genetic, or at least so far as we think. I mean, things do change scientifically. That's part of science. But there is no gene for autism. There's no autism gene. So something is causing it in the environment. Something is. Everything needs to be questioned. Nothing should be off the table. Scientifically, that's the right way to approach things.
This is a chart showing from, again, hard to say, but with CDC numbers starting in around 2000.
Wait, hold on. 1 in 2000 practically in the 80s? What changed from the 80s to 2000? I bet you the number of vaccines that was mandated has changed. I guarantee it.
From 1 in 150 to now 1 in 31. According to your testimony, back in 1970, it might have been 1 in 10,000, a little less certain than using CDC numbers, but there's been an explosion.
Also, too, I know that we use, I don't keep interrupting, but I do know that the type of, what is it called, fertilizers, pesticides that we use in our crops has also changed drastically too. And I don't know what year that was either, but I know that is detrimental to our gut biome, and that could have a part to play too. I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but everything needs to be looked at, like I said.
What are we doing about it? Who's asleep at the wheel? Who's trying to determine what caused this? As Dr. Chris Palmer said, when it comes to chronic illness, and I'd throw autism in there, they don't want the root causes discovered. That's why people are outraged. That's why people may put on Twitter things that they may regret later. Let's put up the next chart, number 3. This is probably my most censored chart. Dr. Scott, were you aware that worldwide on VAERS we've reported 38,742 deaths worldwide associated with the COVID vaccine? Were you aware of that carnage?
I'm not aware of that figure in particular, no.
In America, I believe the number 19,000, correct? Again,
but VAERS does not prove causality.
Oh, I've heard that time and time again. So let's take a look at the bottom figure down here. Of those 38,000 deaths.
To say that it doesn't prove causality, I 100% understand. But to say that there's no sort of correlation at all, there's not any sort of like validity to that claim is pretty insane. To just blow it off, be like, yeah, it doesn't mean anything. That's stupid. You need to look at this.
Yes, 9,252, 23.9%, it's called 24%, occurred on the day of vaccination or within 1 or 2 days. Now, I know that doesn't prove causation, but man, that's a correlation that we ought to look at. Do you know
exactly
to what extent VAERS is reported to understate adverse events? Do you have any idea? Have you ever seen any studies on that?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
To what extent does VAERS underreport adverse events? Again, it's a pain to report something to VAERS. Okay, doctors are busy, takes half hour, 45 minutes. A lot of people don't know about it, so the vast majority of adverse events from a vaccine or a drug doesn't get reported to FAERS. So again, they've actually done studies on this. Do you know what percent actually get reported versus what doesn't get reported?
No.
Somewhere between 1 to 10%, correct, Mr. Siri?
No, it's less than 1% according to an AHRQ-funded study of Harvard researchers. And
So
Harvard
less.
program.
So if it's less than 1%,
Less than 1%. So times all those numbers by 100.
let's just use U.S. figures. Okay. By the way, what is it?
That would be 380,000 deaths, almost 500,000 deaths worldwide. That's atrocious. I don't know. I don't know why this is so protected. Like everything should be questioned.
Is it 17,000 or 19,000 U.S. deaths? Yeah, it's close. Okay, it's one of those 17 or 19,000 deaths reported in the U.S. based on VAERS. If we're only recording 1 out of 100, that would mean deaths from the vaccine is somewhere between like 170,000 in the U.S. 170 again. That's at a that kind of reporting ratio. This is why people are outraged, and what people are denying. They're not denying the potential effectiveness of vaccines. I think most of us think, yeah, they probably work to a certain extent. Okay? What they're denying are the vaccine injuries, the injection injuries. Mr. Scott, how much
Why does this chin keep doing that? Stop doing it.
do you know about the mRNA technology?
A fair amount.
So is the mRNA that's encapsulating the lipid nanoparticle, is that true mRNA?
Is that true mRNA?
I mean, true mRNA, your messenger RNA, degrades very rapidly in the body. Correct?
Correct.
So the mRNA in the injection, is it true mRNA? Does it degrade rapidly in the body? Do you not know?
I do know. Yes, it does. But
It does.
sounds-
No, it does not. It's modified. It's modified mRNA, and it's designed not to degrade. And there are studies that show it sticks around the body. We don't know how long.
He's getting capped on right
The
now.
lipid nanoparticle. Do you realize that it was designed to permeate difficult to permeate barriers, like the blood-brain, like the placenta barrier? Did you know that? Did you believe when Fauci told us that the mRNA shot would stay in the arm? Did you believe that? It's a simple yes, no. I mean, did you believe? Do you believe the COVID injection stayed in everybody's arm? Do you believe that's what happened?
Primarily.
You think so, huh? Were you aware of the Japanese
He's just getting
FOIA
cooked.
of the study that was conducted of biodistribution, where in rats it biodistributed all over the body, accumulated in the adrenal glands, in the ovaries. Because the lipid nanoparticle is designed to permeate difficult to permeate barriers, they knew, the designers knew, and they did a study that would biodistribute all over the body, but our CDC, Anthony Fauci, said it was going to stick in the arm. Now, do you know what the mRNA does? It's not a traditional vaccine, is it? Do you realize that? It's not an attenuated or a dead virus. It's messenger RNA, modified RNA, this encapsulated lipid nanoparticle that distributes all over the body, and when it attaches to a cell, it unloads its mRNA into the cell and turns the cell into a manufacturing cell of a protein that is toxic to it. Do you realize that? Are you aware of that? I mean, just yes or no. I mean, do you know that or not? Because I talk to a lot of doctors who don't have a clue.
I know a fair amount about the mRNA vaccines. Do I know about all of these studies that you're referring to?
This isn't
No,
a study.
there's
This is the basic operation. Do you know how it works? No. It doesn't appear like you do.
Well,
so again, why would we have?
Yeah, that guy is just getting cooked right now. He clearly doesn't know how to respond because you're not. I don't think they're under oath. They might be. I'm not sure, but you can't lie.
Why would we have almost 1.7 million adverse events, dramatically understating it? Why would we have that number of deaths? It's because these little lipid nanoparticles are distributed all over the body. They're attaching to cells. They're turning cells like a heart cell into a manufacturing site for the spike protein, which is toxic, and the body attacks it. It causes inflammation. That's what myocarditis is. And the designers of the injection knew it. And Anthony Fauci knew it, and he lied. That's why somebody like Mr. Rogers, Dr. Rogers, gets so upset.
The thing is, too, like, if Fauci really knew that and he lied about it, why don't these people ever get in trouble? Like, anybody in politics or just anybody that's higher up like that, it seems like anyone who makes a certain amount of money above a certain threshold, they are just untouchable.
And is outraged by the cover-up of this. That's the problem here. I've got a lot more to say. Have you heard, do you know anything about, for example, the DNA contamination that's being reported? I want to enter into the record the McKernan study, just recently released, without objection. There's nobody to object. Again, have you heard about this, that there's DNA contamination in particularly the Pfizer? You're aware of that?
Yes, and
Do
the levels
you know at what levels it exceeds the FDA recommended amounts?
No.
36 to 627 times. The allowed amount is 10 nanograms per dose. And this research paper shows it's 36 to 627 times higher than that. Does that concern you?
Yeah, if that's a legitimate finding, yes, that's not the information that I've been aware of.
No, but you know, it saves 3.2 million lives. No, it didn't. It's impossible. That's entirely possible. Okay, so I got the McKernan study there. How about Dennis Rancourt's study? Are you aware of that one? It's a model.
The other problem with the vaccine, too, is that when it came out, everyone's like, okay, it's going to keep you safe. But then you get the vaccine a few months later, you can still get the virus. You can still pass it. It doesn't make you immune to it. Matter of fact, I know many people who have got the vaccine still got COVID. It didn't matter. Matter of fact, there was a study showing that if you got the vaccine, you're actually more susceptible to get it after 3 months than someone who didn't get the vaccine at all.
No.
But it's a model of, I think, 17 equatorial and south hemisphere countries whose excess all-cause mortality was highly correlated to the uptake in the vaccine. So based off that study, their data, he estimates 17 million people died of the COVID injection. 17 million.
God damn.
I don't know. It's a model. It's like the 154 million. It's like the 3.2 million. It's like the 2.5 million. It's all those numbers that are confidently spewed. This study gets no reaction.
That's the sad part. I don't think it's that high. That would be pretty insane. I mean, hopefully it's not. I mean, that'd be wild. But I do know during that time, if you had got COVID, but you got hit by a car and you died, hospitals were more apt to say, like, you died from COVID. I'm not saying like it was that extreme, but I mean, in some cases it supposedly was, because hospitals got money based on the amount of COVID patients they had that died from COVID. Like they had like some COVID funds or something like that. Anyways, I thought this was crazy.